Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something called shadowing.
Shadowing.
And this is a language learning technique.
Yeah.
When I first heard about it, I thought, really? Is that all?
It sounds too simple.
Yeah, you just copy someone else's speech.
Yeah.
And somehow that makes you better at the language. But we'll see.
The source that we are using to take this deep dive into shadowing defines it as listening to and simultaneously, like at the same time, repeating spoken English from sources like podcasts or videos or movies.
Right.
And that, honestly, when I first heard about it, it sounded kind of like, just like, you know, how you listen to your favorite song and just kind of sing along with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but with the goal of like improving your pronunciation fluency and confidence in a new language.
That's exactly it. And those are the three things that the source material really highlights as benefits of shadowing.
Yeah, pronunciation, fluency, and confidence.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're the expert here, so I really want to like get into this, like, how does it work? Well, you know, it sounds simple on the surface, right? Just copying what you hear.
Right.
But there's actually a lot going on in your brain when you do this. It's like a workout for your language centers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when you shadow, you're using multiple parts of your brain at once. You're listening, you're processing the language, and then you're immediately trying to reproduce it.
Well,
So it's like multitasking on overdrive for your brain. And this intense activity, it actually activates what's called the mirror neuron system.
okay.
Have you heard of mirror neurons before?
I have not.
So they're these fascinating cells in our brains that fire both when we do something and when we observe someone else doing the same thing.
So like monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, exactly. And it turns out they play a crucial role in learning by imitation. So when you shadow someone speaking English, your mirror neurons are firing away, helping you internalize the sounds, the rhythms, the intonation, everything. So you're essentially building those neural pathways for smoother language production, like you're rewiring your brain for fluency.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like instead of just memorizing grammar rules from a textbook,
Yeah.
you're actually training your brain to feel the rhythm and flow of the language.
Exactly. And you're picking up on those subtle nuances that textbooks often miss, like the intonation, the pauses, the little upticks and downticks in someone's voice, the emotional tone embedded in the speech.
Okay. I can see how that would make a big difference, especially with pronunciation.
Right.
But isn't fluency more about vocabulary and grammar?
Absolutely. Vocabulary and grammar are essential. You can't speak a language without them. But fluency is more than just knowing the right words. It's about using them naturally and effortlessly without having to like mentally translate every sentence before it comes out of your mouth.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And shadowing helps bridge that gap because it trains your brain to process and produce language at a faster pace.
Yeah.
The more you practice shadowing, the quicker your brain becomes at recognizing and reproducing the patterns of the language.
So it's like building up that muscle memory.
It is. It's like any other skill. The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes.
Okay. I'm starting to get it. But if I'm being totally honest, I still have this picture in my head of like someone just mindlessly repeating everything they hear like a parrot.
Sure.
Isn't there more to it than that?
Well, yeah, there are definitely different levels of shadowing.
Okay.
You know, you don't just jump into the deep end right away. So beginners might start with what's called passive shadowing, where you're simply focusing on mimicking the sounds and rhythm without worrying too much about understanding every word. Then as you progress, you can move towards active shadowing, where you start adding your own little twists.
Okay.
Like maybe paraphrasing what you hear or even responding to it in your head.
So it's almost like you're having a conversation with the recording.
Exactly. You're engaging with the material on a deeper level, which helps you comprehend and remember it even better.
This is really fascinating stuff. But what does this mean for our listener? You know, the person out there who's actually trying to learn a new language.
Sure.
They've heard us geek out about the science behind shadowing. But where do they even begin?
Well, the great thing about shadowing is that it's super accessible.
Oh.
You don't need any fancy equipment or expensive software. You can start with literally anything you enjoy listening to, like podcasts, audiobooks, your favorite TV shows, anything with clear audio and a pace you can follow along with.
So no speed talking auctioneers for beginners.
Probably not the best starting point. It's much better to start slow, focus on accuracy, and then gradually increase the complexity as you improve. Just like you wouldn't start weight training by lifting the heaviest weight you can find.
Right. Yeah, work your way up.
Exactly.
And this makes me think, could this shadowing concept be applied to other skills beyond language learning? Could you use it to improve your public speaking skills by shadowing a really powerful orator?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Or maybe even musicality by shadowing a skilled musician.
That's a fantastic point. The core principles of shadowing, that focused imitation, that active listening, the repetition, those could absolutely be applied to other skills. It's all about training your brain to internalize patterns and then reproduce them with fluency and precision.
It's not just about language, it's about mastering any skill that involves repetition and refinement.
Right on.
Well, dear listener, we leave you with that challenge. Think about the skills you want to master and ask yourself, could shadowing be your secret weapon?
What could you shadow?
Let us know what you discover.
See you next time.
Bye.